What does this latest attack in New Orleans tell us about the influence of ISIS in the U.S.? How do Americans come in contact with ISIS propaganda? And what does it take for someone to be radicalized? Joining us now to discuss is Victoria Coates. She's the former Deputy National Security Advisor to President Trump, Vice President of the Davis Institute for National Security and Foreign Policy, and author of the book Battle for the Jewish State. Victoria, thank you so much for joining us. Great to see you again. Now, the FBI and DHS have issued a joint intel bulletin to the nation's law enforcement agencies, warning about potential copycats of the New Orleans terror attack. They highlight that since 2014, ISIS has promoted the use of cars as a weapon of terror. What does this tell us about the influence of ISIS in the U.S.?
Well, good to be with you and Happy New Year. I think that this tells us that ISIS is alive and well and is not only in the Middle East, but is also here in the United States. And this really brought back to my mind kind of echoes of the Fort Hood terrorist attack from more than 10 years ago, where you had a member of the United States Army who had been radicalized online by al-Awlaki in that case, and decided to shoot up his army base in Texas. And that had, that was declared by then President Obama workplace violence. They tried not to see the hand of radical Islamic terrorism in that attack. And of course, that then led to ISIS, breaking out across the Middle East a couple of years later and establishing their caliphate, which President Trump had to put an end to in 2017. So I think this is, a big wake-up call about what's going on both in our military culture here in the United States, but also potentially pernicious influences that are now present in the United States.
Expanding on that, with Americans on edge following this attack, there's also concerns over those on the FBI terror watch list illegally entering the U.S. What will need to happen next for the nation to heal and move forward together?
Well, that's the very important flip side to this coin. This person was an American citizen, a member of the United States Armed Forces, but at the same time, we know that over the last 4 years, we've had many thousands of folks who are on the terrorist watch list cross illegally into the United States. They haven't been tracked. And that's why what I think President elect Donald Trump and my old colleague at Heritage, Tom Holman, are saying is so critically important, that we have to identify these people, figure out where they are, and get them out of our country, because that kind of trained militant coming in and having this kind of an ideology could be far more dangerous than what we saw in New Orleans.